Hi, everyone. I am here today to present to you the reading incentive program that we are attempting in the second half of this school year. And then that's also going to lead up to our Million Minute Challenge at the end of the year. So I would just going to talk a little bit about why independent reading is important and then what the program is going to look like as we roll into it starting in January. So, the amount of time students spend in independent reading was the best predictor of reading achievement and also the best predictor of the amount of gain in reading achievement made by students between second and fifth grade. So, the younger elementary years, it's extremely important that they're doing more independent reading and independent reading that is high interest for them, but also in a very achievable range. So something that they're able to read and understand and just kind of find that enjoyment within the reading itself. So why is independent reading so important? Well, if you take a look at student A, who reads about 20 minutes each day, that'll equal 3,600 minutes in a school year. Let's say student B only reads for 5 minutes each day. That's 900 minutes in a school year. And student C only reading 1 minute each day, which equals 180 minutes in a school year. So you can see a huge difference in the number of minutes read. But when you really convert that to days and how many words they're reading, you're seeing that they're reading so many more words by adding that extra 15 minutes or even 4 minutes from the 1 minute to the 5 minute mark. So you can see student A is reading over 1,800,000 words and is considered in the 90th percentile. And student B reading about 282,000 words. That is a huge difference from student A to student B. And even just that 5 minutes a day, though, will jump them from all the way down where student C is, which is 8,000 words, up to 282,000 words. So any little bit of independent reading that we can get them to do is going to really help boost their comprehension, their reading fluency, and their basic understanding when it comes to reading. So by the end of sixth grade, student A will have read an equivalent of 60 whole school days. Student B will have read only 12 school days. So, which one do you expect to have a better vocabulary and ultimately a better understanding of things that they read? So, clearly, this independent reading and having this exposure to a lot of independent reading is really going to be the key in helping them continue to learn and grow as readers. So, we have some additional research that says to accelerate the literacy development of lower achieving students, especially, we have to consider the issue of the volume of reading. So our lower achieving students are going to shy away from reading more than our higher level students. And it's going to be something that's going to continue to widen that gap as they get older if they're not continuing that reading independence. And and I'm sure you all have seen it with your reluctant readers, getting them to just sit down with a book sometimes is difficult. So we're really hoping that this incentive challenge where they're working towards a goal and they're working as a team will help motivate some of these more reluctant readers to pick up a book and to sit down with it. And even if it's only that 5 minutes a day, that's a significant increase from doing nothing. And every little bit's going to help. So our reading challenges, we're going to do 3 months of challenges, and they're going to start in January. Each grade will be given a minutes challenge, and they will have a different goal that's based on the number of students in class. So if you take a look at Bingham and Downing, in January, I have set a goal for them to read just 10 minutes a day because we're trying to build that rigor towards the end where we're reading up to 20 minutes a day. But for a lot of them who haven't been reading independently at all, starting with that 10 minutes will hopefully let them see success early on so that they'll be more motivated once those challenges get a little bit tougher. So based on the number of students at each grade level, I've figured out how many minutes they would need to read to reach their goal. So in January, we are going to start putting out giant thermometers outside of each grade level. So each grade level is going to work as a team. Let me go back to the slide for a minute. So first grade in Bingham, the two homerooms together have a total of 44 students. So all 44 students are going to be working towards the goal of 13,200 minutes. So first grade is going to have its own thermometer. Kindergarten is going to have its own thermometer. Second grade is going to have its own thermometer. So every grade is working to make their grade's thermometer reach the top in order to earn their goal, their reward. So this is what the thermometer will look like. We're going to make them big. Mr. Benor is helping me out with creating, I think these challenge ones are going to be 3 feet tall, and we're going to grow that thermometer. So we're going to add those red marks in each week as they hand in their logs. Will show where they are in trying to reach the ultimate goal. We have 2 different logs set up. So I have a kindergarten and first grade log. Speaking with Joan, we talked about how there's a lot more of being read to by a parent, being read to by listening to stories. So we have a little bit of a slightly modified reading chart for them so they can have ones that they practice. So if you have a book that they're working on in classroom where they are practicing on their own, they can count that towards their minute. Having someone read to them will count towards their minutes. Listening to an audiobook would count. And then they'll have a place where they can they have an adult help them add up their minutes for that day. So they'll be able to give us a total minutes per week. Whoops, let me go back. So this is something that I'm also going to let them have over the weekend, hopefully encouraging some extra reading time outside of the normal class week. Obviously, it's not a requirement. It's kind of like a bonus day to help us get some extra bonus points to work towards that goal. I'm hoping to see, hopefully, as the weeks go on and we're getting closer and closer to the goals, the kids kind of ramp up a little bit trying to help meet that goal for the grade level. The 2nd through 8th grade logs are slightly different, a little bit more mature looking, where they're just going to put the date, the title of the book, and then their total of minutes read. There will be a spot at the bottom where an adult will sign off that, that is an accurate reading of how many minutes they've actually read, but they're going to be totaling up those minutes per week also. So it's a weekly log that will be handed out on Mondays and then returned the following Monday. So each grade's going to be working towards a particular goal and a particular prize. So it might be an extra gym period or recess period at the end of the month, maybe a movie or a popcorn party or a pizza party, something along those lines where they know what their reward's going to be and they will get that reward if they reach it on the thermometer. The first challenge will start on Monday, January 3rd. So as soon as we get back, we're going to dive right into this. Each homeroom will hand out their weekly reading logs, which I just showed you. They will then return their logs on the following Monday. So they'll hand in their old log on Monday, January 10th, and you'll give them a new log for the new week. The final log will be handed in on January 31st. So it's a full month that they're able to work on this. Logs will be turned in to me at Vols, and then at Bingham and Downing, you can turn the logs into Sue and Diane. And they're going to pass it along to Joan. Joan's going to kind of be my liaison and help out with keeping the minutes and changing the thermometers over at Bingham and Downing. Once the total minutes each week have been tallied, the thermometers outside each grade will be adjusted. And then in January, if they reach their goal, they will receive their first reward, which will be a movie day, where they'll have the last 2 periods. So it's by grade level at each school. So if first grade at Bingham reaches their goal, their number of minutes, then that first grade the 2 homerooms will get their movie day. If Bingham first grade doesn't, then they don't get their movie day. So it's about the grade level at the school. So it's 2 homerooms per grade level. And we figured with the little ones, it was better to have this kind of teamwork aspect where we're working together to reach a goal versus the competition in the middle school. Here, we're going to do more of one homeroom competing against another homeroom to kind of bring in that competition aspect that you see is a little bit more motivating for those middle schoolers. So we're going to do that for January, February, and March. So in January, our goal is for them to read 10 minutes a day. In February, their goal is 15 minutes a day. And then in March, their goal is 20 minutes a day, because our ultimate goal is for them to be reading 20 minutes a day independently. So in April, May, and June, so it's 3 months, a little bit less than 3 months, they are going to be working on, or so actually it's 2 months, I should say, they're going to be working on a 1,000,000-minute challenge. And this is going to be district wide. So it's going to run from kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade. So it's going to run April 4th to June 6th. And there's going to be a larger thermometer that goes in the cafeterias at each school. So I think we decided on 6 feet tall thermometers because it's a whole district. We figured it should be a bigger thermometer. So with 807 students in the district, K to 8, it should take 62 days to reach the goal if every student reads 20 minutes a day. So this is a pretty lofty goal because we're expecting reluctant readers, everyone, to be reaching that 20-minute a day. And you know that there will be some people who read way more than 20 minutes that might balance it out, but hitting 1,000,000 minutes is a serious challenge. So in order to keep them motivated, we're going to have smaller prizes at the 250,000 minute mark, the 500,000 minute mark, and the 750,000 minute marks. If you have any suggestions for what those smaller prizes might be, you can email me or email Joan and kind of throw those suggestions out there. I'm still trying to come up with what I think would work because it's going to have to go out through the whole district because the whole district reached that goal. So it's something that, that is financially feasible and also just distribution wise feasible. So it's trying to figure out what would work at those different marks. Then a larger goal, if they actually hit that 1,000,000-minute mark, that's going to be the big reward. So at Bingham and Downing, something like a glow stick dance party for the whole school. At Vols, it's more along the lines of throwing a water balloon. They love like the dunk tank that we do here where they get to dunk water on us. So anything that's going to be with the staff, throwing a pie in the principal or vice principal's face, something along those lines. So we're still working out exactly what that big goal is going to be at the end of the year. So if you have suggestions for that as well, feel free to email them because I love any suggestions I can get. And then what we were thinking with, if we do something like throwing water balloons or turning the principal into a sundae, anybody who is one of the top 10 readers in the school would be able to participate in that part of like everybody else would watch, and those top 10 readers would be the ones who participated in it if they wanted to. So that's kind of what we're looking at towards the end when we're hitting the 1,000,000-minute challenge. And the hope is that over the smaller challenges over January, February, and March, we're building that reading endurance to work our way up to that 20 minutes. So if every student ends up reading 20 minutes a day for those 2 months, we can work together to reach those 1,000,000 minutes and hopefully see some reading achievement in there and some growth among all of our students. I hope this was relatively clear. I did my best to kind of lay out how I envision this to go. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask Joan. Please feel free to email me. If you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. This is kind of a work in progress as we go, but we do hope to kick this off in January with our first set of logs. As the teachers, your main responsibility is just handing out those logs, collecting them every week, and just reinforcing that idea to read. They can read independently at home. They can read independently in class. Like if you give them independent reading time, that counts towards those minutes. So just kind of remind them and encourage them to be recording anytime, even if it's a 5 minutes, like, oh, I had 5 minutes at the end of this lesson to read. Remind them, record it. Every minute counts. So that's mainly it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that you are excited about this and seeing our kids start reading a little bit more and achieving a little bit more. Thanks for listening.